Today, we're meeting with the trailblazing Miss Canada 2024, Tanpreet Parmar, the very first Sikh Punjabi woman to clinch the prestigious pageant crown. In this exclusive segment, we'll dive right into Tanpreet's inspiring journey and what it means to break barriers in the world of pageants. Stay right there for an inside look at this remarkable achievement.
The moment we've all been waiting for. Let's give a huge round of applause to our new Miss Canada 2024, Tanpreet Parmar.
La passation de la couronne suite à quoi nous invitons la nouvelle.
So, tell us, how does it feel to be the first ever Sikh Punjabi woman to win Miss Canada?
It feels amazing. I am honored and I'm extremely grateful. I'm really proud to represent my community and to represent Canada. It's truly an honor, and I'm just really appreciative of it.
And how does your family feel? Like your family and friends, how are they reacting to the win?
They're so excited. You know, it's definitely been a journey for me with pageantry and with Miss Canada, and they are so happy, so supportive. I'm really lucky to have supportive family and friends.
Incredible. Yeah. So take us back to that moment in the pageant. They're about to announce the winner.
Yeah.
And then it's you. And then and the crowning moment. What was that all like?
Honestly, in that moment, I just told myself, okay, it does not matter what the outcome is, just to be there and be present and to be in that, just overall that place and time, and to have that opportunity to be at Miss Canada. I told myself, just be grateful, be happy, you've made it a long way. So regardless of the outcome, just be proud of yourself. So that was a mindset that I was in. But when I was on stage, of course, the nerves are running and I was absolutely nervous. My heart was pounding. I was just there smiling on stage, but not knowing what was going to happen. And when they called my name, I just had so much emotion come into me. And at that point, I was just ready to break down into tears. But at the same time, you know, I was smiling on stage, had to hold myself together. But it was a really, really good feeling. It's really hard to explain, but I like to say it in a way that, think about when you work for something really hard and something that means so much to you and you get it. And it's just an amazing feeling. So I was really grateful. In that moment, I thanked God, I thanked everybody in my life. In my head, I was just thinking about it and I was very grateful.
Wow,
Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So can you tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced along the way and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of pageantry itself and just in general participating in a pageant, it's definitely a process. There's a lot that comes with it. It is overwhelming, can be nerve-wracking as well, because, you know, just doing the whole pageant itself, being on stage and going through that process, it's a lot. In terms of challenges, there's many that I could think of. But I think it was more so just learning to grow from each situation. This was my fourth time back in a span of 6 years. It definitely took a lot of perseverance, resilience, and courage to go back each time. And, you know, as human, sometimes when we don't get to where we want to be immediately the first time, you can naturally feel a bit discouraged. You know, we all can be that way, and that's okay. We're human, and that's how we're gonna feel. And of course, I definitely felt like that at some point in time in my life. But I really had to work on reminding myself about taking each opportunity as a learning and growth experience rather than feeling discouraged going back for the first, second, third, and fourth time, not knowing what the outcome would be.
Right.
So definitely just that confidence, that self-esteem, something that I've generally battled with my whole life. So those were struggles that I definitely went throughout the entire process, but you have to find a way to overcome it. And for me, it was just really taking that time to remind myself of why I'm there and what really matters, and focusing on the positive things rather than the negative things. We look at pageants, sometimes we have this perception that, you know, we have to look and be a certain way, and the greatest thing about the Miss Canada organization is that it's really not a beauty pageant, it's actually a personality pageant. And that was actually the main reason why I even registered and to sign up as a contestant to begin with, because they really focus on who we are. And I think that actually really helped me with my struggles. It really helped me believe in myself a bit more. I felt empowered to be my true self, and I was able to be myself. I didn't have to change the way I looked. I didn't have to do anything to take place in this pageant, in a sense that I was just accepted for who I was, what my values were, and what I believe in. And that's what Miss Canada is all about. It's about personality, it's about your platform. What do you want to advocate for? And that really actually helped me and support my struggles and my mental health throughout that phase of my life when I was dealing with confidence and self-esteem issues. So I really admire that about the pageant.
Yeah, that's great. And that is so Canada too. Like we're about the good personality, the nice people, right?
Absolutely.
The easy connection.
Yes.
So that I love that. That is so cool. So can you share with us a memorable moment in your pageant journey and how it impacted you?
I would say the most memorable moment was when I had the pageant organizer come up to me and pull me aside just to tell me how proud they were of me for persevering through and coming back, because they haven't necessarily seen that happen. You know, definitely there's, pageant and girls go back after the next year and so forth. So just to hear that from them and get that feedback, I'm a big believer in feedback, and to me it really matters. It's so important. And to be able to hear that from the organization, that they were really proud of me for just coming back and believing in myself, having that dedication, that resilience, that for me was a memorable moment, because for me that meant so much. Regardless of winning or not, that for me was a huge success on its own, and to be recognized for that and to be seen for who I am, I really appreciated it.
Amazing. That's amazing. So tell us, how did your cultural background influence your journey through the pageant world?
Absolutely. So one thing that I really appreciated is that Miss Canada is really inclusive. They're all about diversity. They accept women from all backgrounds, doesn't matter where you're from. And being a South Asian woman myself and representing Canada, it speaks for itself. It speaks for the pageant, speaks for who we are as a country and as a whole. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's empowering, especially for women in my, the South Asian community. Sometimes pageantry or the entertainment industry and other industries aren't necessarily looked upon in a positive way. Sometimes we are kind of pushed towards the traditional ways of going through life and education and careers. So the fact that I was able to show that there's so much more to pageants really does help me bring that awareness in my community, and I really want to spread that awareness, especially in the South Asian community, because there is so much more to what we do, especially with pageants. Like I mentioned, we're all about personality, who we are, what are we advocating for, what are our causes, and the things that we get to do and that we do during and after the pageant is just so rewarding. It's such a great experience to go through, and I think just being a South Asian and being able to represent not only what pageants truly are about, Miss Canada is truly about, but just overall being able to be that role model and leading by example and showing what really is out there. So I really hope that my journey does inspire women of all kinds to just pursue their passions.
Amazing. Actually, you've led me right to my next question because I wanted to ask you, what message do you want to convey to young women of South Asian descent or other ethnic minorities that look up to you as a role model?
To all women and men, I would just say that just remember that you are enough. I did not feel that when I was growing up and I was navigating through my life, as a teenager going into adulthood. I never felt that I was enough, and it's so important, especially in today's world in our modern society. There's so much pressure out there. My mental health was impacted deeply by significant factors, and I struggled with societal and media pressures, not feeling like I was good enough in many ways. I was inadequate. I was not, I had to change the way I looked in order to pursue my passions. I felt that I had this pressure of, going through a certain career path or being a certain way. There's so many different pressures out there. But my only message is remember that we're all unique in our own way. And I know it sounds so easy, but it's something that we actually need to remind ourselves every day, that it's really important to embrace our unique selves, to love yourself and be confident in who you are. We all bring something different to the table. There's something special about you. There's something special about me. There's something special about everybody out there. And remind yourself that what you see sometimes out there is not always real. Don't compare yourself. Just truly love yourself and believe in yourself. And no matter how many times you have to try, like me, 4 or 5 times, doesn't matter. You're gonna get there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so, you got me in the feels, you got me.
I'm glad.
So during your reign as Miss Canada 2024, what causes that are close to your heart or initiatives do you hope to champion during your time?
Absolutely. So I am a mental health advocate. I actually work with the Canadian charity, the Stigma Free Mental Health Society, and we really focus on raising awareness about mental health. I know there's been so much out there now with raising awareness about mental health, and I absolutely admire that. But the great thing about the organization that I work with is that we start with youth. So we do presentations all over Canada for students ranging from grade 4 to grade 12, and we're really raising awareness about mental health, but particularly as a speaker, I related to my story. Everybody's mental health is impacted differently. Mine is impacted differently, and so maybe yours. My personal story really focuses on the pressures that I dealt that came from society, from media. I battled with confidence and self-esteem. I battled with a negative body image and not really truly loving myself as a person. So I really focus on the advocating for self-love and acceptance of oneself. Finding that confidence in yourself and being able to really live your life in confidence and just true, genuine love for your oneself. And obviously having that positive body image, especially for women nowadays in our society, as I mentioned, it is such a big, big concern. And unfortunately, it is getting worse with what's out there. So it's really important to understand that and be aware of it and know how to navigate through these pressures, because at one point in my life, I didn't know how to navigate through it. And I really went downhill and I battled with my mental health and I really closed off. So that's where I am in terms of how I'm going to be advocating this year, really raising awareness, sharing my personal story with others, as well as, of course, working with charities that are close to me.
Lovely. That's wonderful. And it is such a huge thing right now, especially with the social media piece, is really impacting the mental health of our youth. And it's, it definitely deserves a lot of awareness, mental health, along with the social media pressures and what have you. So I admire you for that greatly.
Thank you.
So I also want to ask you now about your responsibilities as Miss Canada. How do you balance those responsibilities with those of your personal life and your career aspirations?
Yeah, great question. So one thing that I've always been, and I've always been like, is somebody who's very organized. I love to plan. I definitely think that having a calendar just in general really helps me. I don't think I could live without it. Life has been a little bit busier. Of course, I'm working my 9-to-5 job. I have a personal life, and then I'm also trying to balance my responsibilities as Miss Canada. But for me, I don't look at it as a job. I think it's something that I genuinely love and I'm so passionate about. So everything just comes so easy to me. Days are busy, but in a good way. Not in a, I'm busy, I'm tired. But of course, I do think it is important to make sure you're not burning out, you're taking time for yourself. So I really try to balance out my days. I try to prioritize and find that time in between for myself, whether that be just taking me time or spending time with my family and friends. And like I said, you always need to look out for yourself. And that's kind of how I'm navigating through it. But the year's just started. It's probably going to get busier, but I'm just so excited for it. And I think I'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what's next for Miss Canada 2024 as far as more pageants, international pageants, this sort of thing?
Yeah, so I'll be completing my full year as Miss Canada, and Miss Canada definitely has international opportunities for me and for any other title holders to pursue later on. In terms of what, I don't know just yet, and I can't just say right now, but there will be opportunities for sure. But right now, my main focus is just my year as Miss Canada and just being able to do all the good that I can. And I'm really looking forward to this year. And I honestly just don't want it to end.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Well, and you look so beautiful.
Thank
I have to
you.
say,
I
with the
really
sash and
appreciate
crown,
it. So do you.
thank you. But Miss Canada told me I'm beautiful. But that's, yeah, who would want it to end, right? It's such a prestigious,
Right.
wonderful, like I can imagine it's just going to zoom right by for you this next year. Have you gotten any advice from previous contestants?
Oh, absolutely. I really got to connect with the title holder who had crowned me Miss Canada, and she gave me so much advice. Honestly, advice in a sense to just great things, like, just day to day, how to navigate through things. She's been such a great help and support system. Honestly, all of the Miss Canadas that I've had the pleasure of meeting from the previous years are absolutely amazing. It's genuinely a sisterhood. I do not joke when I say that. You get to meet a lot of the previous title holders throughout the pageants. So they all get to come together. We get to meet them. There's so much that they give you, like their wisdom and insight. There's so much that passes on to you. And I'm just grateful to be a part of the family. It really, truly just feels like a family, and they're all wonderful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm also wondering, is there any other specific ways that you plan on promoting diversity and inclusion during your reign?
Absolutely. Well, the power of social media, of course, right? So I definitely want to do that. And of course, partnering with different organizations, charities. I think also even being in the position that I am as Miss Canada, representing my community, that's a true representation right here of diversity and inclusion, especially with the pageant. And that's something that means a lot to me, because growing up, I didn't necessarily know what pageants were. And I had this perception of watching what I watched on TV and assuming that I could never partake in a pageant because I had to look a certain way, or, I just was seeing what I was seeing on media. So to just be able to actually show that there are pageants like Miss Canada that really focus on who we are and are accepting of everybody, all kinds of backgrounds, I think that itself is such a powerful message. And I really hope to inspire women of all colors, backgrounds, does not matter where you're from, who you are, just to do what you love and to be empowered to take on leadership roles in your life. It's so important, and we are accepted for who we are, and there is hope out there. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity.
Amazing. That's amazing. So who is your role model?
So I have been asked this question so many times, and I will never change my answer just because it really means a lot to me, and it's truly speaking my mom. I grew up watching my mom, take care of 4 kids when my parents had immigrated to Canada, and they were really trying to establish themselves, just build a better life for the family and their kids. And there was a time in our lives where my parents and my dad was working out of the country, and my mom was here managing so much. And she's truly a hardworking woman who has so much love to give. She's always been really involved in the community. She's just been a really hard worker, somebody that never gives up, strong, confident woman. And I really admire her and her perseverance, her dedication, and having a busy plate, but being able to spread that love and care to everybody. And those are the values that I truly hold near and dear to me. And I think it's so important. So she's truly been a great role model, and of course, a huge support system to me, especially during this entire journey.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, big love to Tanpreet's mom.
Thank you.
So I think we're probably going to wrap up here now, but before we do, I want to give you the floor and tell the people what it means to you to be Miss Canada 2024.
I would like to say that I'm honored. I feel that it's a genuine, it's just such a pleasure to hold this title. I really hope to inspire both men and women, not just women, but everybody out there, to really love themselves, to live their lives in full confidence, and to pursue their passions, and to never let any obstacle in your life ever make you feel that you're not enough, because we are all enough. And I really hope that my journey, my story shows that there's no such thing as perfect, and anything is possible. Just put your mind and your heart to it, and you're gonna get there.
A big thanks and huge congrats to the pioneering Miss Canada 2024, Tanpreet Parmar. To learn more about the historical Miss Canada pageant, Visit misscanada.org. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kinga Ripkowski for City Lights on Novus TV.